Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Monday, October 13th, 2025. A little later to record this morning, but we're still on it. Glad you're with us. And I hope your week is off to a good start. It's very rainy here. We've got what they call a nor'easter blowing through. So far, it hasn't been anywhere near what the worst projections were going to be, but we'll see. We've got today to get through as far as that goes, but day 286 of this year, if you can believe it, 69 days until winter begins in this hemisphere. It is also the Canadian Thanksgiving Day. So to all my Canadian friends, and happy Thanksgiving. I'll have to send a few messages out. I want to learn more about how the Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving. I've learned a little bit more. Living here in the Northeast has given me more entree into more Canadians, I guess. my Canadian base has grown. It's wonderful. And I have Canadian family if you go back enough. So it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. It's also Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day, which is celebrated by some in lieu of Columbus Day. And I'm not going to get into the politics of that, but just recognizing both days today. And not a holiday work-wise, for me anyway. So we're still at it. I'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's take our 2-minute trip around the world. Today's random city picker put us in a very tiny town called Hong Kong. And of course, as you know, Hong Kong is far from tiny. Although it is a small geographical area, Hong Kong is certainly not tiny in terms of population. Special administrative region of China. And I was looking back on when the British handed over, they had a 100-year lease on it, on kind of ruling, administering Hong Kong, which ended in 1997, I believe. I'm checking here. Yes, in 1997. So it's got a 7.5 million residents in a 1,114 square kilometer. That's 430 square mile territory. It's the fourth most densely populated region in the world. And it was originally established as a colony of the British Empire after the Qing Dynasty ceded Hong Kong Island in 1841 to 1842 as a consequence of losing the First Opium War. And of course, then it was handed back to China, and now it's operated as a separate system, but part of China, but decreasingly separate, depending on how you look at it. But regardless, it's an amazing place. I almost went there. Almost. I had a great invitation from a friend who was going to go to a concert and invited me to go. But we were moving from Tokyo to, we thought, to New York City proper, ended up being New Jersey, but we're right across the river from New York City. So we're in the general city vicinity. But we were moving, and it did not work out. So I still intend on going there and trying all the great food and walking the extremely crowded streets of Hong Kong. I guess there's some good hiking too. But what's it like in Hong Kong today? 85 degrees, actually 89 degrees Fahrenheit for a high. That's 32 degrees Celsius. It is a very warm place. It looks like they're going to have some thunderstorms. And then midweek through the rest of the week, it's going to be, again, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, basically 29 degrees Celsius every day for the rest of the week. So that is Hong Kong. And I think it stays pretty warm most of the year, as far as I know. So that is Hong Kong. All right, what's going on? I realized something. I've been alluding to, struggles and challenges and overcoming them and all of that. But I don't think I've actually talked about what this year has been like for me. And I just wanted to be a little bit more transparent because I was writing an email to somebody about doing some work for them. And I was explaining, the situation that I've been facing and why I'm looking for this particular thing. And I thought, wow, I don't think I've actually shared that explicitly on the pod. And so I just, whatever you're going through, and I'm not saying this in any way as a martyr. I want to let people know that, we have seasons in life. And if you are even if you're not a business owner or an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or whatever, you're going to go through seasons, and some of them are going to be pretty tough. And this year has been an extremely difficult year. And essentially, I spent many, many years working on building a business where I prioritized U.S. government contracts and working with the U.S. government. And as you might imagine, I mean, our focus has been on helping leadership teams, and in particular, turning around leadership teams that are struggling with some kind of what you might call dysfunction or toxic dynamic, or breakdown in trust, breakdown in relationships. And so we were increasingly busy doing this, and we've done this for other institutions, hospitals and other institutions, but we were largely a federal contractor as of last year, and in fact had multi-year contracts in place and things like that. So that was the big strategy, and had not re-broadened out yet to private sector. So change in administration and a complete wipeout of revenue. I mean, that was the net result. Even the clients that weren't federal government were deeply impacted by federal cuts. And so it has been probably the hardest year in, 15 years as far as revenue goes. And I don't want to gloss over that difficulty. So if you hear tension in my voice, if you hear stress, if you hear that's there, that's real. I don't mean to hide it. At the same time, it's been a year of molting, which is to say, do you have the business that you want anyway? Maybe the answer is yes for some people. In my case, I'm really looking for the next thing, the next progression, the elevation. What does it look like? And really organizing the business even more closely based on who I am and my heart and what I love to do. And I had been denying something for a long time because I think I was probably afraid, which was, what do I really want to do? I really want to be primarily a media. In fact, when I started my LLC and wrote the description for what it was, I wrote that it was a media company. So that's been in there, but I've been kind of at one point, diving into like what I really want to do, but also kind of tamping it down at the same time. And this total wipeout has been awful on one hand. It's been anxiety ridden, and it continues to be. And at the same time, it is an opportunity to move forward. I mean, this is, I suppose metaphorically, this is like why farmers burn down their fields every few seasons, because you need something new. You need new nutrients. You need new to grow those crops, except I want to do it differently. So I have been on a grand adventure of how you make money in the meantime, in the short run, while you're building a longer term media operation, but not take money in the short term doing things that will prevent you from doing the longer term or even medium term goal. And that continues to be the challenge. So I have law. I do have a law license. I can use that. I have the ability to do voiceover work and producing of shows and things like that. So I'm pursuing a bunch of different avenues, including consulting, business consulting. But one thing I refuse to do is end up kind of just, looking backward and rebuilding something that I don't really want to rebuild. I want always be moving to the new thing that is even closer to my true purpose, that is even more true to myself. And so in the end, this is going to be a very exciting metamorphosis. In the meantime, it is extremely challenging. And I am so grateful for the people in my life that are being very supportive. And not every day is very easy, but I get up every day. I'm loving doing this daily check-in. And I know for a fact, because I hear from people, that it's helping them and helping you as you deal with your own cycles of life and seasons of life. So while this has been a bit of a winter all year long, I know spring is coming. And I am not able to decide when that spring is coming completely, but I can act as if every single day, and that's what I'm doing. So listen, as always, I'm really grateful that you're listening. Please share it with a friend. Please like the podcast on Apple in particular. Give us a good rating. Write us a review if you feel so inclined. But more than ever, and more than all of that, just be good to yourself and be good to others. And check back tomorrow for another morning first play. That's what we call it now, the first play with Matt Stone. Thanks again for listening. Bye-bye for now.